Hello and welcome to this video where we explore the feature by which we can import multiple sheets from a single Excel file and combine them as a single dataset within Power BI. So to explain this feature, we're going to use a simple Excel file here. It's called sales data. Let's initially explore this file. As you can see, there are multiple sheets which are segregated by month. So this is a sample sales data. And you could also observe the fact that all of these sheets have the same columns, right? So what we intend to do is to combine all of these as a single data set within Power BI. So what we have also done in addition is that one of these sheets is now hidden. So if you look at it, we have data up till August. But if you look at the hidden sheets, there's a sheet now for September as well. So initially when we load the data, we will not include the hidden sheet, right? So once the data is loaded from all the sheets, we'll unhide one of these sheets here and try to see if the visualizations that we build on Power BI get updated automatically. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing that we need to do is to import the data. So we have the option of selecting Excel workbook from get data, or you can also use this icon over here. So let's go and select it. So we'll go and select the file that we have saved. So once we do that, we will get an option screen where it will show all the different sheets within that file, right? So let's see how that looks like. Okay, there you go. So we can see that all the sheets are showing up here. So the general tendency that users would have is select all these sheets and then load the data, right? But that would not help us achieve the expected outcome. What instead we need is to get to the Power Query editor from the screen. So for that, all you need to do is select any one of these sheets and click on transform data. So once we do that, it will take us to the Power Query editor screen. So from there, we can do the required manipulations and filtering to ensure that the combined data is available as a single data set. Okay. So as it loads, we'll just take a few moments here. Okay, there you go. So now what we see here is on the left hand side, you can see that it is just the first sheet that has got loaded, and we can see the entire data here. But we still need access to the remaining sheets. So that's where the Power Query editor becomes very interesting to work with. So on the right hand side, you will see applied steps. So everything that we have done so far is actually recorded. So we started with the source data, that is the Excel file, and we went through the navigation screen, and then we selected only one sheet, right? So what we could do is we could get back to the initial source data. So in order for us to do that, you could go to this applied steps section and remove the steps that you do not need. So let's remove all these steps and get back to the source data. Okay, so as we get to the source data, we get to see the metadata that is available of that particular Excel workbook. So as you can see, it shows the name of the sheets. It gives us a table here, a column here which says data. And then I have more metadata which tells me what kind it is, whether it's a sheet or something else, right? And then it also tells me whether it is hidden or not. Okay, so the first thing that we need to find out is whether the data within the sheets is accessible or not. So that's where this data column becomes handy because here you see a value written as table. So just click on this table and at the bottom, you will actually see the data that is available in these sheets. So perfect. So we have the data accessible to us. But now we don't want to load all of these files. So what are the things that we need to ensure? First thing is we only need sheets. So for that, we have a column here called kind. So we could go and do a simple filtering to ensure that we are only getting access to the sheets and nothing else. So let's do that first. Perfect. So we have filtered that. And you would have also noticed the moment you have executed that action, under the steps, it has now got recorded. Okay. So the next time maybe some changes are happening to this file, it will go through these steps. The next step that we want to ensure is that we don't want any hidden files to be included. So let me go into the hidden tab here and filter this to ensure that no hidden files are included. So I'll uncheck true here. Okay. So I'm only seeing the active file. So as you can see, the sheet for September is now excluded. Perfect. So I have access to the final data. So once I have access to the final data, then I do not need any of the other columns as metadata. So what I could do is I could just right click on the column and select remove other columns because I got exactly what I need. So when I click remove other columns, you will see that that particular step gets recorded here and I get access to my final data. So on this data column, you will also see a two-way arrow show up as an icon. So once you click this two-way arrow, you will be able to combine the sheets. Okay, so let's click on this. So we just have to go through one more process for this. So what you would notice is it does not identify the column headers automatically. So we will have to go with this selection for now. And you can skip this, use original column name as prefix. We don't need that right now. So we can uncheck that and click OK. So once that is done, we'll now be able to see the entire data from all the different sheets that is available. But then, as you can see, the row header has not been selected, right? So we have individual columns here, like column one, column two. So we need to ensure that the first row needs to be maintained as the header. So we could easily do that. So where the rows and columns intersect, there is an icon here. So you can just click on this icon and select use first row as headers, and that will do the task for you. Okay, so as that is done, in the formula section here, you can see that all the columns have been rightly placed along with the appropriate data types. Perfect. So that's been sorted. The next thing now is just to close and apply, right? So that's all we need to do to get the data loaded. So in the next step, we'll actually see how we can add visualizations using this data set.
So as we can see, the data set has been loaded. We can see the fields here as well, but we just need to confirm whether all the sheets have actually been loaded or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and check that out. So we have a table visualization here, and we're going to add a couple of fields into this. So let's add the month as well as the sales here. So let's go in and do that. Perfect. So we did inspect the file, and we noticed that sheet 1 only contains January data, but here in this visualization we can see data up till August. So it's actually taken all the files or all the sheets that were not hidden in that particular Excel file. So now let's go back to this Excel file and unhide that September sheet from here. So let's go in and do that, and we will save this file as well. Now we will refresh this data set to check whether the September sheet is also visible. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so as we refresh this data set, it's going to explore the file once again, and it will go through all the steps that we have done in the Power Query editor and will access the unhidden sheets, the enabled sheets. So we can also see that there are more rows right now. So once this is done, we'll be able to see the September sheet as well. So yes, so we have the data from the September sheet. Perfect. So these are the steps that we need to follow to ensure all the sheets are combined from a single Excel file. So as you can see, if I add more data, for example, for October, November, December, it should be able to pick it up without any issues. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video and are able to follow these instructions on your data as well. But I have shared access to this particular file that we worked on. The link is available in the description below. So until I meet you in the next video, it's bye from me.